Hi everyone, my name is Claude.
And I'm Clinton, and we're the Lamest Defenders. On this week's We've Got Issues, Claude reviews a new Amazing Spider-Man, and we both read the new one-shots from Annihilation, Scourge.
Let's get together. Hey! Welcome back, everyone. So my title was the new Nova one-shot for this really cool Annihilation. Was it Scourge?
Yeah, Scourge.
So this one takes place right after issue number 1 of the event.
Yeah.
So it's basically, it kind of tells the story of where Nova has been. Because Nova really, in my opinion, isn't a super well-known character, especially if you're a casual comic book fan. Because he'll get his own series for a little while and then it just stops, and then you see him in other events or maybe a new team or whatever. But this one kind of, it's just in a big splash page. It kind of tells the entire history of Nova, and it's really accurate.
Nice.
It's really concise, and it's good because it also ties into like the brand new stuff. Like, because he just had he kind of shared his own solo title with Sam Alexander, the other Nova.
Okay.
So it tied all that together and where he's been. And it kind of, because when you first see Richard Rider Nova, it was towards the end of number 1 of the Annihilation Scourge event.
Yeah.
And he was basically drunk.
The
like,
best part of
yeah,
the whole comic.
So it really tells why he's drinking and stuff like that. And
sure.
It's really cool. And the Annihilation event a long time ago with Annihilus was kind of, I think it was 06 or 07.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was pretty, no pun intended, bugged down. But there's a lot of cosmic stuff, and it can be, kind of convoluted. So they did a good job kind of like telling his history with Annihilus really, really great. And so we get started with, the end of the issue 1, and Nova is basically getting begged by Annihilus, who's now on, this solar system, because he's from the negative zone, and that's how the last issue ended, basically begging Nova to help him. And which is really funny because Annihilus, I would say, is Nova's primary villain, his number 1. And he literally ripped out his throat like MacGruber back in 07. And just the interaction with Annihilus and Nova is amazing. Nova is written so well, and he's so funny, and he's just a character that's, I would say, out of all, I don't know, you have Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Sure.
This is as close to that character in the comics, because the Star-Lord in the comics isn't as close to, I guess, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, yeah.
Nova is. I feel like I'm reading Star-Lord from the movies. Yeah. So it's obviously awesome.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because they're trying to enlist a Fantastic Four because their expertise is the negative zone.
Yeah.
And by far the funniest thing I've read in a comic this year was, so Annihilus is, he looks like a huge Ultron, only he's green and he's a bug and he has wings and his feet are kind of like arched up. He's huge. He kind of, his body is kind of like an Elite from Halo. And so Nova's trying to get him to just walk down the streets of New York with him, banging on the doors because I guess the Fantastic Four have moved. And Annihilus is in this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with Raphael from that movie, or the Thing's trench coat and a little hat. He looks like Inspector Gadget, and it's just amazing. So funny. And he's just like, "Why am I dressed like this?" And there's just one of the other issues too, or one of my favorite parts of the comic was Annihilus is, you Nova Corps, I really trying to get you guys to help us. And because you might not know this, Richard, there was a Nova that actually killed me. And Annihilus has no idea that Nova was the actual one that killed him. And then Nova's like, "That was me, you idiot." And he's like, "No, it wasn't. That one was way braver." And it was just really funny. And it's just this, honestly, it's probably, so far, I think this is my favorite comic I've read all year, honestly.
Just the one-shot or Annihilation Scourge, the event?
Definitely the one shot, but I guess in combination of all of it, I mean, it just, Scourge kind of added more to this one shot. But seriously, it's so good. I love it. Yeah, definitely pick this up. Yeah, it's definitely a must buy.
Cool. Well, that actually that ties in really well with the tie-in that I read. The Fantastic Four one. It starts off with Johnny Storm basically reliving events from issue 600 of the Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah, where he gets overwhelmed.
Yeah,
he dies.
He dies, but then he basically liberates the negative zone.
Okay.
From Annihilation side,
Mm.
and but he's having like nightmares, almost like PTSD from that. So to kind of heal himself, he messes with Ben Grimm a little bit.
Okay.
And he puts like shaving cream and a Santa hat on him, so
Yeah.
it's just it's cute. But after that, it's Reed Richards gets a distress call from the negative zone, and it's something unlike they've ever seen, and it basically like fills them in on what's going on. Reed then takes responsibility for the Sentry becoming the villain, basically, because he was trying to help him get rid of this problem, Scourge, basically, and now it's just kind of evolved into a primo villain. But he also, it's the one trope that we understand the Fantastic Four family. Like I know that. I think you can probably just look at them and get that. Yeah. He says, "Well, I'm going to go." Reed's like, "I'm going to go and I'm going to fix this, and if you guys want to stay here, that's totally fine." And Sue's like, "Hush. Yeah. We're a family. We do this together." It's like, okay, I get it. I understand. Yeah, and it's
every Fantastic Four book.
It really is, unfortunately. And they do it so hard in this one. That's my one negative about it. In the negative zone. But that's my one complaint about it is that it really hits you over the head. It's a great message. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a wonderful message.
Family's all right. It was just Thanksgiving.
But yeah, exactly.
I had to deal with that.
And their dynamic is great, but it's also just like, okay, come on, just move on.
Yeah.
So the Cancerverse rendition of the Fantastic Four is in this. And they are not just the Fantastic Four, as you would think. They're all tied together. Like Mr. Fantastic has them all enveloped together, basically. He's using all of his...
That seems worthless.
It was weird. Yeah. It was kind of weird.
Sounds like, what was it, Fantastic Four? Was it Rise of the Silver Surfer? Or maybe it was the first one where Doom gets all their powers.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a crappy movie.
Oh, yeah. Really? Okay, I don't remember that. And I mean, I've seen it, to be honest with you. But they... and then how they beat them is really interesting. They use this... Sue Storm calls it a tiara. That basically puts them you put it on their head, it allows them to see your memories. So you can actually show them what's going on. So Johnny Storm puts it on his own head and he shows these guys like this and this is who I am. And it basically causes them to start infighting, basically. And then they break apart and they destroy each other. So it was kind of tropey in that regard, but I understand where they're going because now that the negative zone is fully behind the Fantastic Four, it's going to lead to the last issue, Omega, which is in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. For $4.99, I don't know if you'd want to. I think you could probably get enough out of the Nova issue, but it does have. I'm sure this is going to lead to something in the Omega issue. Yeah. So, and if you're wanting to finish it. It's still better than. Honestly, like I hate to preach so much on issue count to make an event worthwhile, but this is only 5 issues, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 issues, including the prequel, first one.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst, but it's so self-contained, and they're not advertising it that much.
Right.
Which is kind of odd to me. So you're not seeing this everywhere. Yeah. But this actually might be the best one this year.
Right. I don't know, maybe they worry about all the cosmic stuff and like another cosmic event. Maybe they just worry the average comic book viewer or reader might not check it out. Because Absolute Carnage, they advertised that pretty heavily, and that was only 5 issues. But the problem with that is technically it was about 35 issues because there's so many crappy tie-ins with that.
And House and Powers of X was every week for, 12 weeks? Yeah. So, that was a little intense. So
because there's only 2 more tie-ins with this event, correct? It's Beta Ray Bill and then Silver Surfer.
And that's next week. Yeah. And then the Omega, the finale is a week after that. So the 11th and then the 12th. Yeah. Or 18th, rather, excuse me. And then that's it. Yeah. So it's kind of like a palate cleanser. It's kind of nice.
Marvel, keep doing that because all these events literally are awful that you guys are doing, and this one's great.
Who knows if this is going to have any giant repercussions or anything, but it doesn't matter. It's still just good. Like it's enjoyable.
Well, that kind of ties in with us talking about tie-ins and all this other stuff to my next comic, which was Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's issue number 35. And that one is... okay, so I love the last couple issues for Amazing Spider-Man, and my big problem was, it's going to get gunked up because the storytelling from Nick Spencer was cohesive for once. In these short little run here. And this one just felt like it was just unnecessary filler, and it was just... It slowed the storytelling down super fast. Like, it was super slow, and it dealt with a lot of Chameleon and his antics and all this stuff. And without getting too spoilery, obviously the main bad guy is Doctor Doom right now because basically someone tried to assassinate him, and it turns out everyone thought he was assassinated. It was a Doom bot. Now Doctor Doom is pissed, and it ties in directly with the 2099 event that is going on right now. And I felt like I was a little bit lost because I'm not reading that event because I refuse to read any more events this year. And it's a 2099, it's Miguel O'Hara, and I feel like I'm missing half the story because I have no idea what's going on with that. I'm not paying any more money to read splintered off storylines that completes the... Just I understand tie-ins, but I don't want to rely on them to know the full story. Tie-ins should just be extra, and at this point, it doesn't feel like that. So, I mean, if I was just starting Amazing Spider-Man, if I took my own advice from the Amazing Spider-Man review I did a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, just start here, at 31 or 32 or whatever, I'd be completely lost, and then I'd be like, Claude lied to me, and he's a liar, and the Lamest Defenders suck. Because I didn't tell them that they should buy this 2099 event. And it just, it sucks. That's just shoddy. It just, like I said before, one of my critiques of Marvel this year, and honestly the last 10 years, they're pooping all over the wall, and they're hoping that these events stick. You don't need 15 freaking events every year. And I just, as a consumer of their comics, it makes me kind of overwhelmed with buying all this stuff. And I know for X-Men, it's just so convoluted too.
Yeah.
And they're releasing more of that.
I know. Yeah, it's. I think it feels like it started this bad with Civil War, where you had almost 100 issues, and then Secret Invasion came out, which was over 100 issues. It basically took almost a whole year, essentially. And then it's just give me a break. Hey, just let me relax for a second.
I mean... What they're doing in Amazing Spider, what Nick Spencer's doing in that comic is very interesting, and I really like it. It's a bummer that I feel like I'm missing out a lot with it. And this one just seemed like I don't know, like the crust of a sandwich, where no one gets excited for the crust of a sandwich, and that's what this issue felt like. So mediocre issue, just filler. It's your lettuce and tomato. Doesn't add anything really. It just kind of sludging the story along, and it kind of makes me worry, but. It's still not awful. It's just I expect a little bit more based on the previous issues.
Because you had a really good run there. About I think 3 to 4 issues of this, you were praising it. You thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. But that's all we have for this week. It was fortunately a little bit better of a week for us. For comic book readers.
A little too much, honestly, this week.
I know his pull list is crazy.
We were at the shop. It's like, this is ridiculous. I can't review all these.
No.
It was too much.
Yeah. There's been times where it's like that for me. It was Spider-Man, Absolute Carnage, and then I know X-Men, and
last week was insane. Like there was, I think, 1 issue for us. It was okay.
It was a famine, and I had no desire to read anything else.
We're feasting.
We're full. We're morbidly obese this week.
That's it.
But that's all we have for this week, and we'll catch you guys soon. And thanks so much for watching.
Appreciate it. Stay lame.
See ya.